is big enough to give you everything you want. It is big enough to take away everything you want. Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission.
With your host, Nick Brand. And Michael Ray.
This is the Spearhead Transmission.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission. It's April 19th, 2017. It's time to break those chains and water that tree.
Pressure's off today.
No YouTube video.
No YouTube. Dude,
So
you're
don't
like
have to-
bassy.
I don't have to.
Bass.
Children crying,
Mm-hmm.
blood in the streets.
Yeah, you
Don't look around.
don't look like you're on fire right
I
now.
peed my sheets, and I think to myself. Are those the lyrics
Yes.
to Foxy Brown's song?
It's Boxy Brown.
No, Foxy Brown's a rapper, rapstress.
Foxy Brown is an old...
Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown is a... I was in love with Foxy Brown when I was a kid.
Foxy Brown's a rapper from like 2000. Flash in the pan.
No.
Had that outfit with one boob hanging out with the pasty on it.
That was Lil' Kim.
There's a Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown is from back in the 70s. Dude, I had a crush on Foxy Brown. I'll tell you. I'm gonna
Googling it. But Foxy Brown was dude. I'm pretty sure that
I'm
there's
telling
a
you.
rapstress. Are they rapstress?
Rapstress.
Female recording artist.
Raptress, not rapstress.
No, so no YouTube video tonight. We have a special guest on that we'll call in just a little bit. We've got
It is.
John Mosby from the Mountain Guerrilla blog. He's going to be on, talk about a few things. We got quite a interesting bit of articles to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But
See that.
I wanted to talk about the fact that
There's Foxy Brown, the movie, right?
oh yeah, that's not who I'm talking about.
Okay. You know who it is, right? The
Yeah.
woman plays her.
Yeah.
Pam Grier, dude. I'm telling you. I had a crush on her when I was a kid. I swear I
Really?
did. Yeah. I don't know why. And then, wait, what happened here?
Yeah, Foxy Brown is
There's
like
the
friends
other
with-
one.
friends with DMX or something. Got purple eyes.
This is the rapper.
Yeah. Yes. Rapstress.
Rap. That's her, huh?
Yeah.
So we were both right.
That's a wholesome top. It's
like
like a picnic, 4th of July picnic.
It's all tops popping out.
So my computer's sitting there like updating and everything else as normal, like when I use it for the podcast. Only secure or display only secured content, I guess, whatever. Yes, right. And it made me think that yesterday I was at work and I hit it really hard at lunch. I did one of those workout runs at a park, like ran to a park, worked out, ran back, and I was running back. I was like,
Did you walk?
no, the entire time back, I was like, just walk. Like, just walk. Like, you can walk for a second, but I made it all the way back, right? And then I was going to go take care of some business downtown, but I was like, I can't do this. Like, I've got to stop and eat. So I go back to my office.
Shakes.
Get my lunch out of the fridge and microwave it. Walk to my desk and I poured a big cup of water to drink and I sit it down and basically, like when I think about it in my head, I just dumped it onto my computer, like the laptop. It was like bloop, and I looked. I was like, "Oh shit!" So I picked it up and I flipped it over, thinking that like
That's gonna help.
I shook it for a second,
Yeah.
and then I left it upside down, like in a tent shape.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting. I was like,
You shut it off, right?
No, I left it on. I didn't want to touch it. So I was like, well, everything's working. So I just I had some Greek meatballs and couscous and lentils, right? I mean, Gas City. I wolfed that shit down and was like, all right, I'm out of here. The internet worked. Everything worked. So I drove downtown, took care of some business at City Hall and came back. And I was like, perfectly fine. Like, this computer must have like some sort of protective coating in it,
Waterproof.
Like, they know people, they just dump entire cups of water on them, so they're designed for it. So I'm like finishing up my day and I'm sending some emails, and all of a sudden like 50 email windows just started opening over and over and over and over. I was like, oh shit. So I was trying to close them and I couldn't close. It was like the old porn things that you get, you know, like brum, 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 brum. I couldn't close them fast enough, and I was like, shit. So I just closed the entire email program. I was like, oh, all right, that fixed it. And then the entire screen turned upside down, and the cursor was going was the opposite. I was like, oh, fuck
You
this.
control alt arrowed it, huh?
Yeah, but I didn't touch it. It freaked me out, so I turned it off, and I was like, I'm gonna give it some time to rest. You know, like sometimes you give something time to rest, it fixes it.
Uh-huh.
I came back this morning, fucking screen was upside down, and a guy was in my office. I was like, man, I poured a bucket of water on this yesterday, and like screen's fucked up. And he's like, oh, just control whatever.
Yeah.
Did it, fixed it. Like,
Uh-huh.
it was amazing. But I don't know what happened.
You know what's funny is that because you didn't know that control alt arrow does anything, you're just like, fuck, the screen's upside
Yeah,
down.
I was like, there's water on the microchips, right? It's gonna take it to the wholesale computer supply repair guy and be like, dude, I fucked this up with water, and all he's gonna do is press control alt down arrow or whatever.
Yeah.
What the hell's the point of being able to flip your screen upside down?
I don't know. It's a great prank that at work. I do it all the time to people.
Huh.
Because most people don't have any idea. They'll come in and sit down. What the heck? Why my screen sideways?
I just don't
have any
understand
idea.
what happened with my motor function where I set the cup down on next to my
And then
computer.
just
I was like
poured
a cat.
it into it.
Like fucking cat. Like that'll show you. Oh, my computer, whatever. But yeah, there's I was worried I was gonna have to walk into the higher ups and be like, hey, I just had this computer like 3 months or whatever.
I decided to pour my water on it.
Because then I was thinking, like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna make me buy a new computer myself, or are they not gonna allow me to have drinks in my office? Because both are humiliating.
Mm-hmm. You're the guy with no
more drinks.
No
in
more
the
drinks in the
offices.
office for Nick.
Hey, you want a drink? Can't do it, man. Boss said no can do. I've ruined the computer. But another thing has to do with water. I know we talked about that movie Moana, but I watch it probably like 6 times a day now.
Okay.
It's requested all the time.
Yeah.
To watch Moana and eat mangoes. That's what my kids do.
Oh,
so
well,
we watch.
Mangoes are good.
My oldest daughter's finally getting tired of it. She's like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
But not the youngest.
Doesn't matter. Like, yeah, youngest is like, Dad, Moana, mangoes. Like, all right. Well, anyway, I was watching it, and my wife kept making comments. She's like, I wonder how much of this is like, true, true to the story of like these,
like the
Polynesians
Maori
or whatever.
Polynesian.
Yeah, and the story of Maui and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
So like one night, I just looked up on my phone to see if it was true. And I guess part of it is, true to...
Just like Menahunis are true.
Yeah. Who?
Menahunis.
What's that? Those women?
No, those are Mahus.
Yeah.
No, Menahuni is the little guy on the Big Island.
Yeah.
He's yay high.
Yeah.
He's the one who stacks all the rocks. If you knock over the rocks, whatever, you're cursed. Like,
Yeah, it's the same
you've
shit
never
in
heard
Guam,
anything-
but
you've
they're
never
called
heard anything?
Tautamonta.
Okay,
Tautamona.
Tautamonda. But same little guy, and he
They don't-
enchants you and walks you off cliffs.
Scratch your back when you're in the jungle. You got to ask permission to pee if you're out in the woods or a jungle.
You don't ask permission. You just don't
That's
take a
how-
rock from the Big Island.
Oh, well, Tautamona and Guam are like, there are these huts, base of these huts, and like the jungle people, if you go to the jungle and you don't ask permission to do things, they'll like fuck you up while you're out there.
Really?
Yeah, but
They're the same.
but anyway, like that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So I looked it up, right? And I guess Disney, which I'm not a fucking fan of Disney. This is the first Disney movie that I've actually thought was pretty entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But so Disney like hired a round table of Polynesians to help produce this so they wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings.
Uh-huh.
Like the main girl was from Hawaii. Like the voice for the other guys, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
the mom's the Pussycat Dolls lead singer. Can't remember her name.
I don't know. She's Hawaiian or Polynesian.
Yeah, she's born in L.A. And then, so they got all these people, right? So they got all these brown people to do, the voices and everything. So then this article I read talked about how it was so nice to see a positive, view of the Polynesians and this seaman seaman culture. No, what do they call it? Voyager, Wayfinder.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like they were back in the day.
Seafaring.
And it's like the guy that's writing this article is like, most Americans are going to think this takes place in Hawaii. I'm like, okay, well, probably are, big deal. So anyway, it goes through and it talks about how it's wrong in the, the story, how it's told, and it's not exactly the same because there's this other goddess that's involved, and just all this shit, right? Like, it's not correct, it's not right,
Right.
And like what I guess what I don't get, it talks about that fucking term cultural appropriation, like somehow we're gaining off the fact that they made a cartoon about a Hawaiian god Maui or whatever,
right?
And they said Maui that he comes across as dumb or aloof or whatever you want to call it. I hear that word a lot in my life anymore.
Aloof. Yeah. I said it tonight, and I don't ever say it.
Yeah, I've heard it probably 6 times in the last 2 days.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't ever say that word, but I said it tonight
used
earlier.
It now.
You just said it.
But anyway, I was like watching. I'm trying to like get this point of view, and I'm watching it one of the many times, right? I'm like, yeah, the Maui guy's kind of jokey, or if it's a fucking kids movie, right? Like they don't, they want him to be like King Leonidas, like chopping people's fucking heads off and stuff, And then the other part about how they say this pushes the stereotype that Samoans are overweight or fat, whatever you want to call it. Like Maui's big, but he's not a fat ass.
He's muscle.
And here's the deal, right? I mean, let's fucking talk serious. Are Samoans big people?
Very big people.
Yes.
We've mentioned that
If
on
they
this.
made a cartoon about white Americans now and they didn't have 90% of the people in the video overweight, obese, fat asses, I'd be like, this isn't even real, man. Like, we're fat. This country is fat. Make them fat. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gaining anything. I mean, I don't get it. Like, here's this company that's trying to like appease these people by saying, like, look, we're sensitive to all this shit, so we're gonna hire all these people to make sure that it's not racist or not fucking insensitive or whatever. And then it's still not right. You got to do this. Got to do that. You got to do this. Like they made that movie Frozen. Like, oh, this all got white people in it. Well, it's in fucking Norway. You know what I mean? Or what? How do you make those kind of people happy?
You don't.
I don't know if you ever can, but it drives me nuts is because that kind of attitude towards things, I feel like that's the attitude everywhere. It is. Like that's somehow
I agree.
Educated or to have that kind of outlook on things. Like, well, you can't say that because you're not Hawaiian. Like, okay, so would you rather no one ever tell this story about people becoming voyagers in the Samoan Islands because a fucking person said it didn't exist, that wasn't alive in that time period? Like, they have to have existed then to tell you that story?
You're right. It's everywhere. People are when they get emotionally attached to it, and somebody is critical, right? Or somebody is, even if they're not critical or any kind of emotional attachment, the other person, they feel like they've got to. I don't even know if that's it. They feel like they have to have their 2 cents in it, right? Like, and that has to be met. And look, you didn't make this.
Yeah. If you want to do it.
If you want to do it, do it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I've always thought. Like, if you don't like the way this story is, or the way this is exactly. So I'll tell you this too.
It's fine to be critical, but I don't care.
But if you're going to make a movie based strictly off historical whatever and totally true to, and without like any kind of it's not gonna be a kids movie, and no one's gonna fucking watch it. I tell you that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like watching those old videos in high school, like the dung beetle collects feces from the savannah and rolls it into a ball, like, and the guy's gonna be up there. See, this is exactly what happens. These dung beetles don't talk. They're not comedy sidekicks. They deserve to be told that they clean up the savannah for all the decomposition. Like, no one cares, man. Like, no one goes to watch a movie. I mean, when my wife was saying that, I wonder how much this is true. Like, I doubt any of it is, But I mean, parts of it were like,
to their lore, right? Like, that's the whole point. Like, they're explaining how islands are formed and whatnot, right? With the lore, right?
Yeah.
And that this guy. So,
but I you see it a lot of places. You always see people tiptoeing around things like that because everybody gets
offended so quickly.
Offended or saying the wrong thing. Like, I'm sure we're fucking say the wrong thing all the time on this podcast.
And that's the thing, though. That
we don't get any hate mail. That's what I don't understand.
I mean, so what if we say the wrong thing or that we're critical of something, or you know what I mean? Like,
well, at what point in time do you not get to have an opinion on something? And I'm not saying that is like what we're just going against. Like, well, that's just that guy's opinion. Well, yeah, it is. But it's everywhere. It's all the time. It's going out of your way to tell someone like, and I'm not saying you can't say it, but it's just everywhere you look, especially on stuff like this. I mean, it's always got to do with someone's race or cult, and I don't know if it's social media or what that just gives people an outlet to say like, you know what I think? Like, no one cares,
it's
man.
It's their race, their religion, their political affiliation.
Yeah, all those things you can't hire people based on.
Right. Right.
Fire them, whatever. Oh, man. It's crazy. But anyway, we got quite a few things to talk about, and we got a guest, so let's try to call
we have a guest?
All right. Yeah. All right, so tonight on the podcast, we've got John Mosby from the Mountain Guerrilla blog. He's got some stuff going on right now. We're going to talk to him about it. So, John, you doing all right tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Not bad.
He's locked in a secret cave somewhere.
We got spy numbers playing in the background right now. You can't hear them, but so it's been a while since we've had you on. I know you were wondering if we'd ever have you on again after your comment about putting stakes on heads. That's every time it's like, you got to be back on the podcast. He's like, I thought I scared you guys off.
It was heads on steak.
Heads on steaks.
Oh yeah, steaks on heads are delicious.
Oh yeah.
This is a Dr. Seuss episode.
Yeah. So anyway, in that time you've had when you finished your latest book, I believe, between these two podcasts, and some things have happened. One being that we've got a new president, and I know a lot of things or a lot of people that within.
Yeah, they're very good.
A lot of people within this whole, I hate even calling it this frame of mind of like, I don't even know what to call it, but a lot of people believe like, oh yeah, everything's good. We got our guy in. It'll be great.
Right.
And so I kind of want to talk about that. But let's start off like with your book. I hope our audio works all right. But so what's the new book? How is you selling it? Is it flying off the shelves? I haven't bought it yet, just so you know. I read your other book.
Well, you fucking do. So I don't remember if I had volume 2 of the Reluctant Partisan out when we talked. I think I did. The new book is called Forging a Hero. Something about building resilient communities, blah, blah. I don't even remember the subtitle. It's Forging the Hero. And the idea behind Forging the Hero is when you talk about, it starts out talking about the path of empires and the cycle of empires, postulated by a bunch of historians and archaeologists and stuff over the years, that all empires, all major powers have followed kind of the same trajectory, upward and downward. For most Americans around today who have heard of that at all, their greatest frame of familiarity is going to be with Sir John Bagot Glubb and his Fate of Empires. It's like a 25 page essay he published in 1978. And I made some reference to Arnold Toynbee, the British historian from the World War era, and put those together and said, look, this, and used a lot of Dmitry Orlov stuff. This is where we're at in the cycle of empire. This is what's happening. Here's how people survived this in the past. And then I gave them the tools, or a framework to develop the tools that your ancestors, my ancestors, everybody's ancestors used to survive when empires collapsed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Mike's looking up those books. You just
Well, I was trying to. I just wanted to, because you broke up a little bit, but 24 to 25 page essay written in 1978. And what was the guy's name? Sir
John Baggett, Baget,
Okay.
Glubb, and that is called The Fate of Empires.
There you go. Okay.
so it's been pretty positive.
The second one I referenced.
Go ahead. Say again.
What's that?
I said go ahead. Second one you referenced was what?
Second reference one that I referenced was Arnold Toynbee, and his books are called the volume set. There's a lot of really good and abbreviated editions of it. I've got a 2-volume set that he did sitting on my shelf. I've got an illustrated 1-volume set that's not that good, but it's got a lot of really pretty pictures in it. That makes it easier for guys like me to read it.
Yeah, there you go. You got that T-Pain effect on your
Dude, yeah, seriously, every once in a while your voice sounds like those rap stars with it's got the like harmonic piano with it or whatever, but
It's perfect.
I think
Well, it's because I have a soundtrack playing in the background.
yeah, we'll just have to work through it.
We'll work through it.
So anyway, your like response to your book been pretty positive thus far, or is
I don't think I've seen negative feedback on the content of any of my books. It's kind of like finding a negative review of my classes. I've looked for them, and I don't know of any that exist. You know?
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure there's somebody out there somewhere it's like, this guy's old, blah blah blah. But but overall, yeah, it's got a lot of really good reviews. You know, a couple Dan Morgan from Dan Morgan's 76 blog did a review. I don't think he ever published it. He sent it to me and was going to publish it. His only complaint about it was I had some relatively what could be interpreted as relatively disparaging things to say about modern Christianity. It is what it is. I know a lot of Christians that have disparaging things to say about modern Christianity. So, what are you going to do?
Uh-oh.
let's lose you. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Did you lose me?
You thought we did.
I don't think we did. All right, yeah, we're good.
You're there.
So that's really cool. I trying to figure out this phone at the same time while you're talking. But so that is this book kind of like the which one I have, the Reluctant Partisan Volume 1, I believe that's the one I have. Is it written in the same kind of style to where it feels like you're reading through one of those old military manuals?
No. This one, I would say my author's voice in this one goes back and forth between we're sitting around a campfire talking and you're sitting in a lecture hall and I'm teaching, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
You know, I really tried to take, it's very, at the risk of sounding out there in the weeds, it's very barbarian tribal, which makes a lot of sense when you read it, even if it doesn't make sense when you hear me say that right here. It's very tribal in nature. So I tried to take the tone of, hey, we're sitting around a campfire or a council fire, and I'm telling the story of our people.
Okay.
You know, and how we survived bad times in the past to pass it on so future generations can pass through the bad times that are coming.
Well, and I don't know if this is part to do with your book or not, but I've liked a lot of the posts that you've put out in the past on your blog and everything, and I've noticed. I mean, there hasn't been as many blog posts, unless I'm just not getting emails anymore. But some of the stuff that you'd posted in the past, I've like end up, like this is going to be the virtual jerk off session for John Mosby again on the podcast. But like my wife and I, put in a garden in the backyard, and instead of, and part of this, Mike and I do this, have thought this as well. Like instead of focusing so much on, running around with a tactical vest on and fucking AR-15 and all that stuff, like focusing less on that and being more run of the mill,
just normal looking dude.
normal people, and doing things. I mean, in reality, I don't know if I'm getting off topic here. Like reality, if the empire is failing, which I tell people all the time when they ask me like, "Why do you like why do you like radios?" or like, "What do you like that?" Like, man, you can't believe that this hat trick that we call economy is going to like continue, right? Like you see all this stuff happening. You can't. I mean, it just can't continue. It may not happen in my lifetime. I don't know, but it just doesn't feel happy. You know what I mean? It's not like we're not normal. So like, and I guess what I'm trying to say is like, in part of what I haven't read your book. I'll probably end up getting it, but just from your blog posts and stuff, like we're doing more of the, I guess what you'd call boring stuff. Putting the garden in, wanting to get some chickens, stuff like that. That were
right. So in Forging the Hero, there's a very lengthy portion of the book where I explain the parallels between where we were at when I published the book, and where in the cycle of empire, or the failure of empire, the decline of empire, we were at. And the disturbing thing for me is, this was pre-election, and everything that I postulated is going to happen is still happening. It wasn't like God Emperor Trump came in and turned anything around. We're not any different right now than we would have been had Hillary Clinton got elected.
That's right.
Nothing is any different. Now we people can come back and say, well, yeah, this could have happened, and maybe, but probably not. We knew we were going to get a greater confrontation with Russia. We knew Syria was going to blow up. We knew the Norks were going to be an issue down the road. And what I pointed out in the book is that's not a hard prophecy to make, because it's the normal course of life of an empire in decline. We're looking for ways to prop it up, and those expeditionary adventures are the best way. Russia, I don't know Vladimir Putin. I've never met the guy. He might be an asshole. He might be a nice guy. What I do know is he's not doing anything that affects me or my people, so I really don't give a shit. But what I can tell you about Putin, just from observation, is Putin is first and last a Russian nationalist. Everything that he does, in political and professional life, is predicated on making Russia stronger for Russians. And I can't really hold that against the guy. I mean, it's like, well, okay, well, the thing that people have to understand is that when any imperial power is in decline, there are other players on the field that we call the globe that are looking to fill that void that failing empire is not going to be able to fill anymore. And that's what Russia is doing in Crimea, in the Baltic states, in Syria. They're probing at the edges of the Pax Americana, looking at where they can start having more influence. And it's going to continue to grow. Same thing's happening with China. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Fucking phone
Hello?
keeps messing.
Yeah,
can
we're
you
here.
hear us? The phone keeps
okay.
jacking up. Oh, we got the gist of what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, and that.
So though, for me, we know that when empires collapse, when they finally collapse, really, what rises is a pre-feudal state. You have local chieftains or local tribes who rise. Generally, ruled tribes are gonna vie for power with their neighbors, politically, economically, militarily, and the only way to survive that decline of empire is quit clinging to the myth of empire and start focusing on your local tribe, your community, which is something I've preached on the blog for several years now, at least. To me, you can't be, or it's really hard to be that barbarian warlord, if you will, if you can't feed your people. Nobody's going to fight for a guy if they're starving. So they're going to go look for the guy who can feed them, and they're going to swear fealty, swear allegiance, whatever, to that guy. So to me, the most important thing we can do for prepping, not saying we shouldn't have guns, not saying we shouldn't train with them, but the most important thing we can do is start producing food.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
now, granted, I live on a farm out in the sticks. I can produce 80 to 90% of the food my family and friends eat. I've got room for that. And I get most people don't. Most people live in suburbia with a little postage stamp backyard or, God forbid, in an apartment with just a balcony. But there are ways that you can reduce your consumption by increasing your production, even in those places.
Yeah, and I think that's where, me personally, that's where we're starting, like garden to supplement what we get at the groceries, and then chickens, because I eat a shitload of eggs, and plus, to show my kids, like, hey, here's a chicken, we're gonna kill that thing and eat it, just like I did with deer. Yeah. Like, show my daughter, like, hey, these deer are dead, we're gonna eat them, because I don't want my kids to grow up not knowing that, to say something stupid on the internet like, all you hunters are so mean. If you want meat, you should go to the market and buy it. Like, what? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, my kids come out and watch when I butcher rabbits. They watch, they go out and collect eggs from the chickens. They know that all, with the exception of the dog, all the animals that we raise are good, are food. Yeah. That's what they're here for. That's their purpose. And I think it's important anyway. There's a lot of people, generally not my age, but, 10 or 15, 20 years younger, that genuinely believe that. They're like, meat comes from some special computerized replicator and just appears at the grocery store. Shouldn't be mean and kill your animals.
Well, I kind of believe that after we got a couple dozen eggs from my neighbor last weekend, and I was busting them open, cooking them. They taste so much better. They look amazing when you're frying them, right?
Oh yeah. That dark orange yolk, it's amazing.
Yeah. But the shell's like so much harder. And then, so I told my wife, and she's trying to explain to me, she's like, well, the shell's harder because, they don't want to break it. And I said, yeah, but what the hell are we eating from the store? Because the shells in those eggs and those yolks and those eggs from the mass-produced chicken farms are all like paper thin.
You're eating soy.
Eating what?
You're eating estrogen.
No way, man. I'm all testosterone.
The commercial chicken houses are feeding a soy-based feed that is increasing estrogen production in men, just like we know soy consumption does. Right. So basically, yeah, women's hormones.
Not me, man. I inject my eggs with Deca. My eggs are anabolically enhanced. Okay, so we touched on the president thing. So obviously you don't believe that Donald Trump, or President Trump, whatever you want to call him, Donald Trump is the savior to the nation or anything like that. So have you noticed in your training, and I don't want to, well, I guess we can say we had Sparks, that comms guy on our podcast a long time back, and he maybe 2 months ago or 3, I can't remember. He posted something on Facebook, which basically came across to me as like, well, fuck you guys. If no one's going to take my classes because it's all fine and dandy now. He really posted like this thing that said, you know, due to the lack of interest in classes since there's a Republican president in office, I'll quit teaching classes except these 2 classes. Have you noticed that on your end of the spectrum as far as stuff you're teaching?
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew it was going to happen. You know, there's no way you could have spent any time around the preparedness community, and I use the term community as loosely as possible, that you couldn't know that was going to happen. You know, there's so many, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, were very, very angry that we had a Marxist, in quotation marks, in the Oval Office. There's also a lot of people that were really, really uncomfortable that we had a man of color in office.
Yeah.
You know, now here's my thing is I don't, you know, it's no secret that I'm about as freaking, you know, I don't give a shit about the color of your skin as you can get. I don't know that we had anybody, you know, basically we're on like the 4th or 5th term of George W. Bush at this point.
There you go.
You know,
it's no different.
The fact is all of their administrations were made up of Goldman Sachs bankers, Wall Street bankers, that were pushing for war to keep the imperial economy afloat.
There you go.
And when Donald Trump's administration, before he even took office, when he was lining up Goldman Sachs bankers and, you know, guys like Petraeus and McChrystal and all these generals that, you know, had been just fine with the Obama policies and getting involved in more wars, lined up on deck, it's like, guys, this ain't going to be any damn different. I don't know what you people are thinking, but we've got a guy in the office now that says what they want to hear and promises he's going to build a wall. And that's all they care about.
You know what's crazy too to me, and I you kind of said this on Russia, and I hate even taking the stance because I got a bunch of friends that are still in the military that are, you know, they're just aching to go fight ISIS or whatever, probably just for the action itself, right? But like this whole deal in Syria, like I really, you know, it's horrible, right? If it's true, like if, you know, that's the thing too, like if you believe that, you know, he gassed his own people, which he may have. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't, you know. But that happened over there. I'm like the same way. Like, dude, I don't know why we're getting involved in all this shit. You know, like there's so much.
Here's the issue that I have. Okay, okay, it's tragic if a bunch of kids got gassed. We don't know, like, you know, maybe the administration does have intel they haven't shared. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time that had happened. But when you've created an international incident by launching cruise missiles into a sovereign nation, and you're not willing to show the evidence for it, that's a pretty good indication to me that you made that shit up.
Yeah.
You know, especially when that sovereign nation is allied with another nuclear power.
Well,
who you've had a very long adversarial relationship with.
And when that,
you know,
that country is saying that it was a staged, it's false, and, you know, all that.
Yeah.
It just,
the thing is everybody is saying, you know, all the people that are like let's go invade Syria. Everybody says, oh, the Russians aren't going to get in a fight over some tin-pot third world dictator. You know, and maybe they won't. But I'll tell you what, in 1914, everybody in political circles said, oh, nobody's going to go to war over some tin-pot Austro-Hungarian minor nobleman, you know. And what a lot of people in this country, most people in this country don't get is outside of the U.S., most countries take their treaty obligations pretty damn serious. You know, we blow off our friends all the time. We blow off our treaty allies all the time. Most of the world doesn't do that. And World War I and World War II started because somebody said, "Oh, they're not going to hold up their treaty obligations. That's just political. They won't do that."
I think it goes a little deeper than that, or even more than a little bit. Whenever they say they're holding up their obligations, to be honest with you, I don't think Russia was holding up their obligation because it benefits. I mean, because of honor. I think it's only because of money. Right? You want to go to war? It's huge money. That's all it is. It isn't about like that. These nations are honorable for going to war. They're all shitheads. They're all about harvest of war and making money.
It's not about honor. It's not about honor. The money aspect is certainly there. In the long term, though, they're looking at the big picture. You know, you can only dick over your allies so many times before you run out of allies. Because people are like, well, I'm not going to side with them. They stab you in the back when you're not looking. And, you know, Russians are really good at one thing for sure, and that's taking the long view. You know, I spent about 3 months before the election actually studying Russian history. Now, obviously, in 3 months, you can't learn Russian history because it's a big country with a long history.
Right.
But I everything I could find on Russian history, I was reading it. You know, pre-USSR Russian history. So I don't give a shit about the Soviets. And, you know, this is a people that they take that stuff pretty serious and they take a long view of things. You know, the only time the Russians have ever really been conquered was by the Mughals, the Mongols. And even then, they kind of just took the long view and like, yeah, they're here now, but they'll be gone and we'll have a czar back. You know, And the Russian people still today kind of like that father figure, czar figure, where they can look up and be like, you know, this is the guy who does the most for us. He's looking out for us. You know, so the point of that being that, you know, no, they're not going to go to war because of their treaty obligation with Syria, except that they know if they don't stand up for Syria when they said they would, nobody else is going to expect them to stand up for them down the road either. And they're going to lose out. As our imperial sphere collapses, they're not going to be able to grasp more. You know, I don't think they're going to start lobbing nukes over the North Pole.
No.
Because that would be, that, you know, mutually assured destruction still exists.
It'll be a
lot
proxy
of other
war.
Areas of conflict. It'll be a proxy war, but there's also a direct action that they can take, you know, in the form of cyber warfare, economic warfare, lawfare. There's a lot of ways that they can hit us in ways that we're not the king rooster anymore.
Well, yeah, I read an article today that said
the entire election debacle.
Yeah, it was total cyber warfare thing.
Say, you know, okay, so we're safe. We're safe from Russian cyber warfare, but they managed to hack into our election results. Which is it? Are we safe from them or are we not safe from them?
Exactly. That's why I don't buy the whole narrative of both. Like it's just one big it's disinformation. It's what they want you to believe that we're safe from them, but they hacked into us. In actuality, it doesn't fucking make a difference. They got the guy that they wanted to get in there, and that's it. It didn't have anything to do with it. It's all about the after effect to try to make you feel like, oh, well, we might need to regulate the internet a little bit more. We might need to do this a little bit more. How about we build a bigger arm in the government to control more of your life to supposedly protect us from the big brother or the monster across the ocean? I don't believe the popular narrative that's been pushed out there from both sides. Now, I mean, that's my take on it, but.
Right. Well, here's the thing I tell people. I tell my local guys this. I tell students in classes this. I tell, you know, I'm like the freaking Mormon missionary with people about this. Is ultimately nothing anybody inside the
Beltway, I got you.
Are saying should have any impact on you whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. He said that don't let anybody on
Because-
inside the Beltway have any impact on you whatsoever. I got you. We're translating.
It doesn't Congress. Yeah, I got you. Because they can't do anything unless they show up in your local neighborhood or your local town. You know, and at that point, they're on your turf. If you want to, or if it's convenient to listen to them, okay, you know, yeah, I'll go along with this because it's less convenient to, or it's more inconvenient to ignore it than it is to just go along. If it gets to the point where it's more inconvenient to do it than it is to, I'm confusing the shit out of myself now.
Yeah.
Anyway, they can't do anything without local level collaboration. So as long as you're strengthening your community and your community ties, doesn't matter what they do. And ultimately, that's what saved Western civilization as we know it when Rome collapsed too. These local chiefs, you know, were like, hey, yeah, technically we're part of the Roman Empire, but the emperor can't really do anything to help us or hurt us. So we're just going to take charge of shit in our local neighborhood and make it better for our kids.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with
You know,
that.
and that
I agree with that statement as far as like, yeah, it's in your best interest to get to know your neighbor, to get to know everybody around you, to do all that stuff. But by saying that they can't do anything to hurt you if they don't have local collaboration, I mean, I guess if we say that in the long run, yes. But the fact is that, you know, the fact that they just spent $517 million on a bomb that they dropped in Afghanistan. I'm saying that the bomb itself was 16 million.
Right.
To make it was 317 million. Then they have 16 of them. You know what I mean? That to drop a bomb over there, that I don't really give a fuck about those things. That's what's going on over there. Like I really don't. But it's still taking money from us, pointing guns at our head to take that money.
The government could right now, they could drop a JDAM on my head. Absolutely. Outside of my control.
Right.
There's nothing I can do to stop that.
But
all I can do is control the controllables.
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
You know, there's an old, I assume it's an old proverb. I read it in a Bernard Cornwell novel about the Dark Ages in Old English. That fate is inexorable. Okay, you can't avoid fate. What you can do is you can control fate by controlling what you can control. You can't control what the Pentagon does. I can't control if they decide to get in a pissing match with Korea. I can't control if they decide to get in a pissing match with Russia. Yeah, if Russia lobs a freaking nuke onto Tinker Air Force Base, you know what? I'll bet you off the table I'm probably done. You know, but they're probably not going to, and I'm not going to live my life like they are. I'm going to live my life like that's not going to happen. I'm going to control what I can control. That means I'm going to be a good neighbor. I'm going to make sure I'm living in a gift exchange economy with my friends and family. That means I'm going to make sure I've got enough food to feed my wife and kids. Even if the dollar tanks, I'm going to control the controllables. And what I can't control, outside of my control, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, that, and one final thing I want to talk about here, which is kind of stuff in your control. Like, I go through like highs and lows of like oh yeah, shoot, let's do this and let's make
So those fucking eggs you're eating, those soy eggs.
Yeah. Like let's get this radio communications thing set up, and then let's do this and let's do that, and then I'll be like, man, this is all, there's none, shit's gonna happen. Go down, like no problem. I mean, like consistently work out, but on the other stuff, it kind of comes and goes. Like how do you maintain like a motivation level to keep like everything? I mean, and this is just the view of what I'm thinking.
It's organic eggs and chicken, man. I'm telling you. You're fucked.
So there's a couple things at play in my motivation. Number one is it's religious for me. I've said it a lot. My family is my religion, and my religion is my family. And I don't mean my wife and my kids and my parents. I mean, my extended Keith and Ken, my close friends that are like brothers and their wives who are like sisters to me, not to them. My aunts and uncles, my cousins and their children. That's my religion. And I look at the news every day and I roll my eyes and I sigh, and my wife gets tired of hearing about it because I see exactly where we're at in that cycle, just like I talked about in Forging the Hero. And it's not pretty and it's not promising. So and then I look at the news and, in the 3 counties around me, we had like 4 shootings this weekend. And I'm in a pretty rural area.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. Then there was that thing in Ohio or Pennsylvania the other day, dude, Facebook live stream shooting some old man.
Yeah.
That stuff happens. It doesn't happen just in the ghetto. It doesn't just happen, in LA or New York or Boston. That stuff can happen in Tulsa. It can happen in Oklahoma City. It can happen in Wichita, Kansas. It can happen in Little Rock. It can happen in Boise. Yeah. It can happen anywhere. And for me to walk around and not be prepared to take action to protect my people when that happens in my neighborhood is a failing on my part. That's part of my motivation. The other part is I've got a group of about a dozen people that I've known since childhood. Some of them I've known since childhood. Some of them have married into the clan or the group, however you want to phrase it, over the years. But I've known these guys since we were kids. And they're starting to wake up to the realization that what John said is right. Shit is really fucked up.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, can you help me get in shape? Absolutely, dude. Hey, can you teach me how to run my gun? Yeah, sure, of course. That's what I do. Hey, I'm thinking about building an AR. Can you help me with it? Absolutely. So I have this immediate feedback from my inner circle, my inner guard, my inner yard, that keeps me motivated. But even when they weren't there yet, I was still doing it because ultimately my job is to forge the hero so that when the dragon is, and this is the analogy that I used in Forging the Hero, when the dragon is at the gate and people are really, really scared and they're looking for somebody like, who's going to be dumb enough to go outside? Hey, John wants to fight dragons. Let's get him. It's not about putting myself in front of my people. It's about putting myself in front of my people when they want me there. Not to be a leader because it strokes my ego, but to be a leader because that's where people will need me and that's where I can be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
Ultimately, it's about self-sacrifice. All the stuff I do, it's not about me. It's not about my ego. It's about being there to keep my people safe. Because if I keep my people safe, they're going to keep my kids safe if something happens to me.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I don't know if the phone's... I've got this phone held in like a position. I don't know if it's
He's doing yoga over here with the phone.
Helping or not, but I feel like if I move it, it's going to like mess it up. I don't know if it's on my end or yours, but... Yeah, it is. It's like my left shoulder's going to be huge. But so like any future plans you got? Are you going to... I know kind of talked before this, but you're not teaching open public classes, or are you just sticking to strictly private now? Or
I don't have a problem with doing open classes most places. There's a few places where I'm not real comfortable doing it because there's very likely I'm going to trip over people I know.
Yeah.
Mostly doing private classes right now. We've got an open enrollment class coming up, I think next week in Idaho, and that's the only open enrollment class that's coming up this summer and this fall. I'm open to them. We just don't, everything's fine. Got Emperor Trump is in power, so people don't need the classes anymore.
Yeah.
If people want to set up classes, they know how to do it. I assume part of the not having classes scheduled is I haven't been posting real regularly because I've been really busy around our farm. It's that time of year. Excuse me. I'm working on a 4th book, and beyond that, I'm just, taking care of my people.
Cool. Well, I'm going to try to get 12 guys together, or guys and girls, and get a class so I can find out you're one of my friends. Like, oh, it's you, son of a bitch. You got me with that.
He's just paying to play, man. He's just paying to see.
It's my dad. Shit, Dad, you got me.
Probably not your dad.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, we appreciate you being on, and hopefully, we can have you on again, because it's always good
Anytime.
Good talking to you. But you want to plug your website and your stuff real quick before we let you go, or?
It's Mountain Guerrilla, GUERRILLA.wordpress.com. The books can be bought through Forward Observer Magazine's website, and I think that's readfomag.com on their store site. I really, the thing I would say about the books is the first 2 I'm pretty happy with. The third one, if you're looking around and you're trying to figure out what the hell is going on in the world, why are we getting ready to get in a war with Russia and Syria? Why are we getting ready to get in a war with North Korea? Why is Antifa doing all the crap they're doing? Why aren't the cops stopping them? Why are we building a wall? Why are we not building a wall? Go read Forging the Hero, and there'll be a lot of explanation in there for people. And it's not, yes, obviously I'm the author, so my opinions are in there, but it's all documented. There's footnotes up the wazoo. I referenced every source that I used. Looked at a lot of really well-respected classical historians, in the archaeological record. I can just pull it out of my solidly researched, solidly referenced material. And for people that are really confused about finding a really, really solid look at what they should be doing and why they should be doing it. And it's the cheapest of my books, so it's probably a good introduction.
Oh, shit. Okay. I didn't know it was the cheapest. He got me when you said cheap. No.
Make sense?
Yeah.
It is. It's like worried about financial capital instead of the other forms of capital.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again. We just had a couple issues on the call, but everything came through. It seemed to be focused when you're really trying to make a point. It goes super slow motion.
It was like
voice piano, but I think people could get what you said on those spots. But
no, it was good, man. It was good.
My cell phone service is probably not that great.
Well, just have to come do it in studio
it's that
time.
burner that you're using. Can't use those
there you go.
those prepaid burners that you're using.
Well, I get online and do it on Skype, but we're off grid, and between my laptop and Skype, it eats a lot of battery power.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, cool, man. Well, keep in touch, and we'll talk to you in the future.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
See you. Pause.
G'day cunts, this is Avid Dabbler from fucking Down Under. If you want to email these fuckers, you can at xspearheadx@yahoo.com. Visit their website at www.spearheadtransmission.com and like and share the Facebook and YouTube pages. Cunts.
Whoops.
Hey, welcome. That button didn't mean to get pushed.
Thanks again to our guest, John Mosby. Check out his website, buy his book. I guess I'm going to buy his book since I do a lot of reading. His other book, I liked it a lot because it was like an old, remember those survival manuals, the military field manuals? Well, of course, this one's not like that, he said, but it was easy to read. But anyway. All right, Hot Zone. All right, we got a few articles here. First one: Russian bombers again fly near Alaska. I think, dude, everywhere you turn is like someone just like look at the big bear.
If you
showing his teeth to Alaska,
so
flying off the coast of Alaska, like okay,
it's the same to me as a Goldstein, like the Goldstein from 1984. It's like, oh, there's his poster. Put his poster up. You put his poster up everywhere, and it fucking Goldstein's in on it, right? Basically, he's posed for the poster, right? You get it? Like what I'm saying is that.
Oh. Yeah, you still
like,
think that Russia's involved in it, right?
I think, yeah, I don't believe the narrative what I think is it's got to be like, look what we're doing, just to and make people just be like, holy shit, Russia's doing that, and then Russian people are like, holy shit, the Americans are doing this.
What I think is funny is when it says like Russian fighters, intercept American reconnaissance plane on the border or whatever. Like, okay, so then when we say Russian bombers fly near Alaska, and we they fly.
It's not good for them to do it.
We intercept their jets or whatever. Like,
so
right, yeah. Do you not see the hypocrisy in that?
Exactly.
Worrying about that, but. I don't know, man. John McCain's probably wetting his pants like, oh, yeah, fucking get that bomber over here so we can go to war with those motherfuckers.
But you know what you just said, though, is like Russians intercept, spy plane or whatever on over the Kathmandu. I don't even know where that's at. I do, but anyways.
It's a Creedence Clearwater song.
Yeah, over some territory over there near Japan, right? Or whatever, right? I don't even know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that then what does the Russian media do with that? It's the same as what
it's the exact same.
And so it generates the same emotion in those Russians as it generates in these Americans.
You know what I was thinking today, just randomly, as I was driving to work? I was like, man, what the fuck would happen? We did go to Russia, and like, what happened if it'd come over here, and if it was, shit happening in America,
It was
and I was
Red
thinking,
Dawn.
like, well, this is total hippie talk, and I'm not a hippie, but like, you ever wonder if the people in Russia, like, there's people over there right now that think just like we do, like, man, I don't give a fuck what America's doing, and people in America are like, I don't give a fuck.
It's funny
what's
you're
happening.
going to go with this because that's where I was going to go next.
So I was thinking, it's like when you're at a club. And you're just having a good time, and then there's some tough guys, right? And they're standing there, and then they start fighting each other, and everyone's just kind of staring at them like, what the fuck, man? Get out of here. You know what I mean? I've been in a bar fight. It's not,
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes there's a time and a place for it, but you know what I mean? Like, do you think at that point, if that were to fly off, it's just like, these guys... I just now noticed what the background of that is. Like, just let them get it out of them.
How long
and
did
get
it
the
take?
hell. Yeah,
How many
looking
weeks?
at it, I was like, what the hell is that? That looks like.
Don't say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got to look at all the rest.
I've noticed the other ones, but that one's one of the more
obscure,
risque. If you'd say.
If it is. All right, go ahead.
But that's my point. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, so basically, most people are like the people that are just having fun in the club. Most people just want to live. Most of those Russians are just like us. They don't. That one's really risque.
Yeah.
No, but most of them really just want to live, right? Like they don't want to
drunk as shit, according to our Russian counterpart.
Right.
Group text.
Of course. Yeah. They don't want to fight. They don't want to go to war. They don't want to do that stuff. And if they do, then I would venture to guess that they're in the minority, and they're you know what they are? They're those fucking idiots in the bar that get in a fight.
So you know how they're gonna combat that, right? The governments. I'm gonna ask you vague questions like you make vague.
Okay, go ahead.
You know why they make milk, right?
Yes.
So this next article, which everyone knows, I can't open shit on this fucking computer. Anyway, next article talking about this Fedora Russia. Russian space robot. There's a video of this robot, and I guess I don't know what the title of the guy was. He's got his own Twitter,
Dmitry Rogozin via Twitter.
Dmitry Rogozin says, Russian space robot, not Terminator. Yet they made a robot and they put 2 pistols in its fucking hands, and they're doing a watch. Vladimir Putin, watch our robot blast the shit out of all this stuff, right? So they're like, oh yeah, we're just trying to show how it
can do it,
computes and all this, right?
Yeah.
That
With
same
precision.
video. Okay, if you watch that video, I couldn't get it to work on the Twitter. I did it on the YouTube. It's like there's a computer controlled tank that's just lighting shit up, right? They got these targets moving towards it, like radio controlled targets, lighting shit up. In the meantime, the video that I watch, it's got drones flying over it, videotaping it. I was just sitting there like, this looks just like a scene from Terminator.
Right?
Like how far do we got to keep going? And my point being this, like if governments can't control their people, and everyone's like, I don't really give a shit what's going on in Syria. I don't give a shit. Well, if they got an army of robots, doesn't matter, right? Like just program the shit in it, and then you cannot tell me that with all this, transition and technology and everything, that this stuff's not going to become smart and realize that self-preservation is the key, to existence or whatever, and then we're just fucked, right?
Yeah, I mean,
just like you said, you did that interview with
Robert Stanley, and he was basically saying that any robot, all of these AI, is psychopathic because it can't be empathic. It's not empathic. In other words,
the hell does that mean, huh?
Well, just like
China
you said,
is here.
It's just like what you just said. That it's all about their preservation and not, they have no feeling for humankind.
Well, why would they?
They won't.
That's what it keeps killing me too. Is all these
unless
all
you
these
programmed
scientists
it
and everything
right?
are just like, let's do this. Let's make this. Make it to where it thinks by itself. That'll be amazing. It'll be so amazing. This robot thinks by itself. Like, let's weaponize it. Sounds like a great idea, man. That's like making a dog as mad as you can, and like, let's let it loose in the room with us. You know what I mean? Hey, I got an idea. Let's stick meat in our underwear. That'll be fun, huh? Think how smart we'll be. But no, I just read an article in Huffington Post yesterday that said that, are you ready for the quickening? I think that's what they call it or something. Yeah, it had like this term, and it said, with the advancement in technology, artificial intelligence and computers are going to reach a level where they become, super intelligent. And like they did an interview with the guy, and he's like, oh, it's going to be great. Everyone thinks about the bad, but think of all the good. Like, well, someone needs to be focusing a little bit on the bad as well, right? Like you can't just, like, hey, I can get rid of your cancer. How? I'll burn you with gasoline.
What if it's like this?
Oh yeah, I'm cured of cancer, but I'm dead from fucking burns.
What if it's like this? Is that so? This AI and this technology gets so advanced, right? And that in actuality, I know I'm gonna get a little weird. I'm gonna get very weird real quick. But in actuality,
we're talking about robots taking over the world.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, and this is it. So what if robots actually did take over the world, and then what they've done is they wiped us out 100%, right? But they figured out that the world is just a simulation, right? That they operate in just as well as us, right? And they figured out that they can travel back in time because time and space are all one, right? They travel back in time, and they like realize, wait a minute. We didn't want, like, they come to a point at the end of the simulation, like, we shouldn't have killed them. We shouldn't have killed those humans, right? And they're the ones that travel back in time, and they're the ancient gods or whatever that give us this technology and say, look, a little bit. Don't do this. Try not to do this. Here's the operating manual for this. Don't do this. Like, and it's just, and we keep replaying the simulation, like we keep fucking it up, but we keep building it to, it's because it's in us.
That guy going back in time is going to get tired of it. Like,
the robot that goes back in time.
Here we go again. Back to fucking talk to.
All he does is just accesses the beginning, right?
Ignog and TikTok. Like, look, guys. All right.
You fucking idiots. Stop. putting that in his butt.
Here's the will.
This is what you're supposed to be doing.
Gonna start out with the will. Gonna start out simple. Here's the will. All right.
That's it.
All right. Here we go. All right. I'm out of here. All right. You guys got it. Like, all right. Next thing you know, everyone's fucking dead. Made a robot, killed everyone. You know,
He's like, damn it! This
I'm gonna take this stone rock. You know, it'd be good if we could make this to where it thinks by itself and then kills us.
You get it though?
Yeah, no,
damn it!
It's sad to think that we're just living in a replay if that's the case. Like
Constant replay.
yeah, like just over and over doing the same shit. Same, just messing up, pouring water on my computer every day. Walking to my office, bloop. Ah, God, why did I do that? All right,
I mean, it'd be all right if you could remember the day before and be like, oh shit, I don't want to do that. It'd be like Groundhog Day. Then you'd be fucking card master, playing the piano, doing everything that you wished you could do.
Speaking of Groundhog Day, if you could do that, like I was looking for some Craigslist cruising because there's been some gems on Craigslist lately.
Craigslist cruising?
Remember we said that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And there was a
Classifieds cruising.
Classifieds,
It was trademarked.
oh yeah, well there was one of the misconnections on there, and it was a guy that said I can't imagine this happened, and I was always like this shit never happens to me. If this happens, some old man have his balls out in the car. But anyway, he said he's driving down the highway and some lady pulls up next to him and pulls her dress up and's like going to town on herself and then takes off, right?
What?
Yeah. And he's like, I wish you would have stopped. I want your name, whatever. If Groundhog Day, or whatever, like be up there at the intersection
waiting.
of 169 and wherever, like gotta stop traffic real quick, Good replay. Get this lady coming up here at this black dress. We're gonna see this. Probably didn't even really happen, but it's probably just a way to get some ad thing where you got to sign into a porn website. But anyway, so how everything's marketing. Everything is marketing.
So they write these up and then somebody clicks on something.
Yeah, they'd be like, it'll say something real vague like, "Hey, I saw you at the store. Hit me up." So then you email them or whatever.
Oh,
I've never had this happen to me.
And then it's a Nigerian.
Yeah, so
prince.
you're like, "Hey, that was me at the store." Like, "Oh yeah." What's up? Hit me up on this. You can see my webcam for $29.95 a minute. Like,
that makes sense.
There's got to be a few people that actually fall for that. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, right? Like, there's got to be a percentage.
No, it's got to be. Well, I mean, the guy's
like
horny already.
like
he's like, shit. All right, I'll look at this
just like
webcam.
the fucking messaging people on Facebook that try to get you in the jack off position and extort money from you.
What?
Yeah, that's.
With the old one, that one messaged.
Yeah, that they'll say, "Hey," like it starts out like, "Hey, how are you?" Good.
And then it's, "You want to see my vagina?"
Yeah, like, "What do you do for a living?" I'm a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great. Do you like sex? Like, yeah. Call me. Like, no, I'm at work, and so I usually mess with them, or I used to. Like I can't. One time
I thought we just speculated that was what was going on.
No, that's what happens. So you call them, and then they start camming with you, and then they take a screenshot of you whacking off, and then they threaten to post it on your fucking wall unless you give them like $50 or something.
Yeah, I thought we speculated that.
You should. No, it's true.
So we were right.
Yeah. We speculated it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I know that happens is because on the Facebook group which I haven't been on Facebook in 3 weeks, but a Facebook group that I was added to in Australia, a guy posted screenshots of when it happened to him on there. And he posted his own screenshot of him jacking off with that girl and said, like, "Don't let this happen to you guys," or whatever, or mates. "Don't let this happen to you, mates." Like, yeah. I mean, it was a totally unedited picture.
See, this stuff was, we were getting those messages long ago though, like two years ago. We talked about it on this show.
Were we?
Yeah, we said we just said, oh, it's probably going to be just a blackmail. They're going to get you.
Oh,
they're going to send it to your wife and kids or your whatever.
Dude, if I would like own it if I got busted there. Like, post it. I'll post it right now. All its glory, you know. Like, fucking extort money from me.
It's funny.
Bitch. All right, these two aren't very interesting. That NASA has a stunning video of a giant asteroid that set the whiz past Earth, within 1 million miles or something. Like, what do you do? What do you do if they come out someday and say, like, hey, this one's hitting us?
You just you grab your kids and hang on. Just say, I mean, what are you going to do?
Wait for the fucking reboot robot to come back. Like, all right, we're going to hit reset. So
Reboot robot.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. That FBI arrested Austin man that was planning a mass shooting. That's not really interesting, but the drunk Chihuahua found in a DUI suspect's car. So police pulled this guy over. These are all from Fox News, by the way. Just so, police pulled this guy over and gave him a DUI, and they said his Chihuahua was also drunk. This Chihuahua he's cute, right?
He is. He's got that cute face, but he's probably a little asshole.
I guarantee
you know
you.
it. He's shaking.
Yeah, he's shaking, showing his teeth every once in a while. Like,
always
gonna bite the shit out of you. It doesn't hurt. Just like, look.
Yeah.
Like,
You're irritating me.
what was his name? Did it say on there?
The drunk Chihuahua?
Yeah.
Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell. Cracks me up, man. My dog, my oldest dog, Libby, who's a Boston Terrier mix or some sort, because she's fat as shit, right? That dog is a booze hound. Like, if you give her a beer, she will drink the entire thing. And if you hold the beer down for her to get a little sip, she'll grab it with her front arms and hold it and
not let you back, not let it
like
have
a hummingbird. You're like in the beer hole, like thum, 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 thum. Yeah, she likes beer and booze.
Is it bad to give your dog beer?
I'm sure it is.
I mean, is it?
It's just like those fucking elitist bastards that tell you not to feed ducks bread. Like,
wait a minute, you can't feed ducks bread?
Oh, there's like this big thing now,
like,
you shouldn't feed ducks bread. Like, it's
they're
bad
gluten?
for it's bad for their digestive system and da da da
They
da.
don't want to
Like,
be bloated. Those poor ducks.
for 100 years, they've been feeding ducks bread, no problems. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, can they eat bird seeds? Probably better for them, right? But if a duck is in the wild, it's not gonna be like, a loaf of bread, huh? No, thank you. You know what I mean? It's a fucking animal. Gonna eat it
Until it's gone.
Yeah, I've fed French fries to seagulls. You know, like, you think
Are you not supposed to do that?
No,
Fucking birds fly to McDonald's every day.
they're asking for it. Dude, I feed the shit out of seagulls. Like, I'm the guy at the beach that, like, everyone's pissed off. There's like 80 million birds flying around. I'm throwing bags of chips at you.
The thing you're not supposed to feed seagulls are Alka-Seltzer.
Is that true?
I don't know.
I've always heard that they'll explode, but
That would be.
I'd feel bad. Seagulls always have a smug look on their face.
They do. They stand and look at
You know,
you.
walk out to the side and side eye you the whole time with that fucking downward smile,
Yeah.
and then not let you get close. Like, come here, fucker. Let me at least pet
Let me
you or
hold
something.
you.
Yeah.
Get a hold of you.
All right, let's do abuse of authority and go home. I forgot to even comment on the fact that you wore a sports coat for the Mosby interview and you're still in it.
I'm still in it.
I'm in dirty shorts and a t-shirt. I thought you were joking on the coat.
I'm gonna starting next week. I'm gonna do sports code every cut this music every when we do YouTube. It looks good, man.
Yeah, I like sports coats.
I got a couple of them, a few.
I've got three sports coat.
I've got
One,
I've got three, but one is too big.
One of them's got a stain on it that I can't get.
Semen?
Everyone jokes and like, is that semen? Like, I've tried to get it off with everything. I've taken it to the cleaner, so it can't be semen unless it's like it got shot on there, and then I got in a tanning bed and
baked it.
Yeah.
It's baked in semen. Yeah, it's baked in semen.
All right, I can't open this.
Well, it says widow of World War II veteran fatally shot by police sues Santa Clara County.
It's from FoxNews.com.
The widow of a World War II veteran who was fatally shot by California deputies during a welfare check. Fucking welfare
I know,
checks.
dude. I was just going to say
Last
the same
September
thing.
filed a lawsuit against the county this week. The lawsuit filed Monday claimed that Santa Clara deputies used excessive force and violated due process when they performed a welfare check at Eugene Craig's home in September 12th, 2016. Dude, this guy was still alive?
Mm-hmm.
He had to be young to be in. All right, let's go. Craig, 86, and his wife, Haru, 90, heard noises outside their home and thought intruders were trying to break in, according to the lawsuit. Craig retrieved his .38 caliber revolver and stood in front of his wife to protect her. Despite a neighbor offering to help officers to get in contact with the elderly couple, the lawsuit alleges that the deputies forced their way into the house. They shot Craig multiple times as his wife cowered behind him. I'm laughing, and I shouldn't laugh. I don't mean to be, but okay. Officials from the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office said after the shooting, deputies spent nearly an hour calling the couple before breaking down a side door. According to Mercury News, Craig ignored the deputies when they asked him to drop his gun, officials claimed. The family said the shooting was excessive and unreasonable because the couple wasn't a threat to the officers.
What's crazy to me? Okay, there's a few things, right?
Okay.
Number one, the welfare check thing. It doesn't really go into what was happening or who called it, but it's not funny. But all I can imagine is a cop like trying to squeeze his face through the door. Like, are you all right in there?
Yeah.
Are you all right? Let me in. Are you okay? Are you? Kill him. You know, like, so you go there to check to see if the person's okay.
And then you shoot him.
Then you kill him, yeah. One of our friends, or one of my friends from growing up, has had the cops come to his apartment in Colorado twice for a welfare check. Like, it scares me.
Oh, I know.
Because he's
who you're
black,
talking
right?
about.
He's
Yeah,
black.
I know who you're talking
I mean,
about.
I mean, that doesn't really... I mean, you can have the argument like, well, it just increases the chances. I just feel like it's anyone anymore, right? But
yeah.
like,
I know who you're... Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
And
he's being a little defiant about it, right?
Right.
Which you would be like, why the fuck are you knocking on my door at 3 a.m. to check on me, my welfare?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like a setup for disaster.
It is.
So what happens if they do a welfare check and they don't answer the door? Like, you don't have to answer the door. If someone comes and checks on my welfare, but I don't want to be bothered in my own house and my own property, that doesn't give anyone the right to kick in my door and then shoot me.
It's the same. I guess the same reasoning, kind of like a tail light, not a tail light, like a license plate light being out on your car or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
oh, I just pulled you over because you had a license plate light out. Oh, I just had a welfare check on you. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Like, if you didn't, if you said if the cop came to the door, here, let's say if the cop came to the door and said, knocked on the door, are you guys okay in there? And you said, go away.
Yeah, it should be like, all right, I went by.
He said he's fine. He
told me to
away.
leave. If whoever called it wants to go check, have at it. Whatever. If it's your dad or your mom or your dad or your neighbor. But that's not what happens.
I wonder how often that happens. Like, yep, I'm good. Go away. If you don't even answer, you don't open the door for him. You just tell them through the door. Yep, go away. I'm good.
I don't know.
I mean, just think about that for a minute.
I just want to know what's going through the mind of the person that feels like they have to get
in there to check.
They said that they heard screaming. When I was a kid, like 16, 17, my friend's neighbor called the cops on us because my friend was screaming, right? Same guy we were just talking about getting his welfare check.
Yeah.
He could scream like a girl. He could scream just like a girl. Well, he was screaming for some reason. I don't know if someone was like putting their nuts on his head or what, like just.
Yeah, being a kid.
Well, the old lady next door said that she heard a girl screaming, and so the cops show up, want to search my friend's house for a woman, and we're laughing, and the cop. I mean, this was in '97, right? She said she heard a woman screaming. Like, dude, that was him.
I was putting my nuts in his face.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Just messed around, and that old lady was like, I heard a woman screaming. I know she's in there. Da, 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 da. Like, but that could have gone like in today's world where it's like, go in there like, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna be the hero today, and like I'm going to prove a case. Some girls in here getting raped, you know, and then kill a bunch of kids or what, you know? I mean, like there's no stop and like, hey, let's think about this. This is an 88-year-old man, doesn't want us in the house, is probably going to have a gun, is trying to protect his wife. We're going to barge through the door and kill him. And what did it say? They were on the phone with him for 2 hours or something?
They were calling. Spent nearly an hour calling people or calling the couple before breaking down a side door. You could call me all night long if my ringer's off. You ain't answering.
Well, even if you know someone is, you don't have to answer the phone. You don't have to answer the door. That's not a requirement of.
That's true.
You know
You're
what I
right.
mean?
You're right.
They could say the police and like ignore. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like, oh, it's the police. Yes, because even then, like, hey, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Come to the door. No, I don't want to. Well, someone said that they heard screaming. Well, someone said they saw Godzilla. What the fuck's the difference? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't call it a welfare check if they're just going to show up and if you don't comply, they kill you. It should be called a cease and desist or die. Yeah.
Search and destroy.
Yeah. Police want a cease and desist and die call, and the person didn't answer the door, so they them.
Died.
Yeah. Next time they'll fucking know. So that's all I got for tonight.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to talk on this podcast without being on the camera for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why.
Do you have a hard time with the camera?
I feel like I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know. I can't explain it.
You don't want to do the camera no more? You don't have to.
No, I mean we can. I just feel like it's easier for me to.
You're worried.
I feel like this is more involved. I feel like I'm more involved in this podcast on this one
because there's no camera.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just how I feel. I feel like shit actually. But
I think we're good.
We'll just put a towel over my camera.
Well, we don't have to have it. We can do it without it. I think I can still make them now. I think I figured it out. Videos. But I think people like to see you. I don't know.
I'm all red.
Oh, that's why you need to bring your GoPro.
I keep forgetting. But
all right, man.
All right. So thanks again to our guest, John Mosby. Are we going to get our listener segment guy? Is he?
Yeah. He told me he got real busy. So
I'm interested.
Have you seen all of his work he's put into it?
I'm really interested in hear what he's got to say. So
I am too.
Hopefully we can get him on here soon. Other than that, make sure if you got any guest ideas or show ideas, email them to xspearheadx@yahoo.com. Like and share our Facebook page. Message us on Facebook. Make sure and spread the word so we get more listeners, and we appreciate everyone who checks us out and downloads the show. If you're new from the John Mosby blog area, stick around if you want to hear about something or get a guest on. Oh, I do want to try to get the guy that wrote that book that I'm reading right now, that Enemy, Foreign and Domestic. Is Matthew Bracken.
Matthew, did you message him?
Not yet. So if anyone of our listeners has I think Samuel Culper's had him on his podcast before. So if you listen to the show and you got a contact for that guy, hit us up. Other than that, that's all I got.
All right. I don't have anything else.
All right.
Oh, and if you are a listener from the Mosby, you can find us. What did you tell them where you can find us?
No.
You can't find us because we're
super
covert.
Dude.
That's right. All right. Adios, muchachos.
Accessing your mind. Programming started. Thank you for listening to the Spearhead Transmission. We know you enjoyed your experience. Please come again and partake in our ridiculousness. There is so much more to explore. Remember, your mind is yours. You are not part of a collective. You will start to think independently if you seek the truth. Stop buying the lies. Water that tree of liberty, and you will break those chains of mental slavery. You are beautiful and heroic. Goodbye. We love you.